New studio, who this? It's your boys, David and Rob. What's up, man? We finally did it. You see that? Anyways, today's show is going to be absolutely fire. We have a lot to talk about today. Michael Saylor does it yet again. More Bitcoin, 2% of the supply, now sits with none other than MicroStrategy. What has El Salvador done? They took money from the IMF. What does that mean for their Bitcoin strategy? Also, a country has decided to sell their Bitcoin. Are they making the same mistake Germany did? Speaking of selling, actually, the opposite of selling, buying, is Amazon going to start buying Bitcoin, and the number is staggering. More than Saylor, more than BlackRock, more than Fidelity. We'll talk about that. We also have some news. Brad Garlinghouse was on 60 Minutes yesterday. We have the breakdown of what he said, what happened, and was it a fair interview? Also, Jupiter. If you've been using Jupiter Dex Aggregator, you could be getting a lot of money airdropped to you in the next month. We're going to talk a little bit about XLM, about Cardano, the markets, which altcoins are the perfect time to buy right now. We have that and much, much more in today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go. Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City. It looks nice in here, crypto. Well. You know, they always say when Bitcoin breaks new all-time highs, there will be signs. It's here. No. Still a lot of this taken out on debt, though. So, haven't cashed in the Bitcoin for this yet. Yeah. How you doing, man? Now that you mentioned the debt part, I'm not so good. Nah, not so good. My blood pressure. Well, Bitcoin's down to 97,000. We might have to see what the trade-in value is for this LED wall. We just put it up. Man, we talk about this all the time. How we always reinvest. So this once because this thing's just the beginning. Right? Yeah. We just threw a background up here, but it'll be part of our whole dynamic show, different interactive things going on back there. So really excited to show you the use case and utility of this thing. This is a token. Should we do a wall token? A wall token? Wall. It's going to have utility. Anyways, let's start with the man himself, again. Michael Saylor. Santa Claus came early. They've acquired another 21,000. On you, man. This man has a problem. This man has a spending problem. His wife must be really frugal. Is he married? No, his wife is probably mad as hell at him. He probably shops at the 99-cent store. And she's just like, why can't we buy nice things? He's like, I need more Bitcoin. Probably. He's driving a Honda Civic. He's like, I traded in the Mercedes, the Maybach, the Rolls. He said, you know how much Bitcoin I got for those? Yeah, living in a trailer. Anyways, they currently hold 423,650 Bitcoin, acquired for $25.6 billion with an average price of $60,324. Leave some for the rest of us. Is it ever going to stop? I mean, at some point it will slow down significantly, but he's never going to stop. I don't. Obviously, as long as he's breathing and as long as he has a major influence on the board members, because I know he stepped down as the CEO, but he still runs the show in a major capacity, even though he doesn't have the title CEO. And so as long as Michael Saylor is breathing, I don't see them changing course at all. I don't see why we're going to slow down. I mean, the dude's literally just keeps buying the top, so it's not like it's not like anything's going to change if there's a $200,000 Bitcoin, right? Or $300,000 Bitcoin. I think he's still going to. The nominal value will be similar, but obviously the amount of Bitcoin will be a lot smaller. Yeah, he'll still buy at billions of dollars at a time. But yeah, interesting. Speaking of buying, did you see this? So we have the big vote coming out of Microsoft tomorrow, December 11th. Michael Saylor gave his 3-minute pitch to the Microsoft shareholders and the Microsoft board as to why they should adopt the Bitcoin strategy. And while the Amazon shareholders were like, you know what? Yeah, we kind of want that too, actually. Yeah. So they're requesting the company exploring to add Bitcoin to their treasury.
Do you think Saylor will speak at this one?
I'm not sure.
At whatever meeting they have?
The number here, my friend, is $29 billion. $29 billion. So they want Amazon to allocate 5% of their assets to Bitcoin, and their assets currently sit at around $584 billion, which 5% of that would be 29, let's call it $30 billion. $30 billion at the current price of Bitcoin at 97K. Amazon, if they bought today with $29 billion, will be able to buy 301,000 Bitcoin. May I remind you, my friend, the miners mine how much Bitcoin per day, Robin?
450?
450. So, what are your thoughts on this, Rob? You know, I said this was going to happen, right? I think both of us talked about this on this show several times months ago. I specifically said there is no way in hell that shareholders of MicroStrategy are earning all this money and shareholders of other large companies aren't going to look and say, these guys are making a shitload of money. And either it's going to be because capital flies away from Amazon, Microsoft, all the companies that don't have a Bitcoin standard, to companies that do because it's more valuable to the shareholders and they make more money. And if that happens, then you're going to start seeing Microsoft, Amazon, all these companies start to look at adopting it. Or the shareholders are going to speak up and say, you need to do this. You need to look at this, because at the end of the day, once you take your company public, your employee, the people you work for as a company are your shareholders. Those are the people you want to keep happy. Those are the people you derive value to and from, is your shareholders. So this is going to be a trend, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? Let's play a little game here. Say Microsoft and Amazon start to allocate to Bitcoin. What does that mean, Rob? What are some long tail effects to that?
I mean, you're getting buyers from other comparable companies as well. I mean, I would assume Samsung would join in the party, perhaps Apple. And so just the biggest names in NVIDIA, finance, biggest names in tech, biggest names in company valuation are the likes of Microsoft and Amazon. And so what's to stop everyone else from doing it? And especially if two of the leading top 10 or top 5 companies globally as far as value, and if they have a position on Bitcoin, then everyone's going to follow suit, right? And then especially if you parlay that with the fact that the U.S. is going to be a net buyer of Bitcoin as well, not even to mention that if the U.S. buys Bitcoin and hodls Bitcoin and has a strategic reserve, we know other countries are going to do the same. And so if you couple companies and also countries and as net buyers to Bitcoin, then I mean, there's, like you mentioned, there's only so much going around. And so for that reason, I would expect to see a massive price surge or price shock. And then not to even mention, you still got the ETF too. So retail, traditional investors, if you don't realize that there is a storm coming as far as a parabolic run up and a massive shortage on Bitcoin, it is here, right? You see the if you're standing at the beach and you see the water recede out and all of a sudden you see that there's no water for 20, 30 feet in front of you, other unsuspecting people might be like, hey, that's strange, whatever. And they're just over here splashing around. Any of you that understand that this might be a tsunami warning and that danger is ahead, volatility is ahead, that's the way that I approach this mentality. I see that, hey, you know what? There's multiple countries, multiple companies out here buying a limited supply, and it's gonna affect the price to the upside in a major green candles, brother. Major green candles.
Ashley said we should put a picture of her as a background. Are you willing to pay for that as a sponsor?
Yeah. Why not?
We can make it happen. Speaking of buying, we know that Marathon, right, adopted a Bitcoin strategy. And we take a look at, well, Riot has also proposed offering of a $500 million of convertible senior notes. Net proceeds from this offering to be used primarily to acquire Bitcoin and for general corporate purposes. And so it's interesting, though. You know what's funny? It's like these guys actually mine Bitcoin. And they, like, yeah, we don't mine enough to just, so we're just going to buy some.
Yeah.
We're just going to buy some.
Which puts you in an interesting situation that we say how much Bitcoin is being mined every day, right? 450. And so if the miners are buying Bitcoin OTC,
that means they're not selling. Right?
Exactly. They're not going to sell. That's like your drug dealer buying drugs and then selling drugs. Like, no, he's just going to keep buying, and so then at some point he doesn't even become a dealer anymore.
You mean a dealer that does drugs?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just saying that if they're the ones mining Bitcoin and you're expecting them to sell Bitcoin, as we say, hey, 450 Bitcoin are being mined, there's only so much that we produce. If the mining companies are mining Bitcoin and also the mining companies are buying Bitcoin, what makes you think they would sell it?
Well, I'm sure they sell some for operational costs.
But then, yes, but
as the price of Bitcoin goes up, it's less they have to sell.
I'm just saying
it's, I don't want to say perfect, but it's almost perfect, right? I mean, it's about as perfect as it gets, right?
Why did your voice get all soft there?
I don't know, because I'm just thinking.
Yeah, creep me out, bro.
We're going to talk about XLM. There was I screenshotted a question from one of our videos by Metro Collectible Sand Vlogs. Oh, the long name. So I'm going to answer that question because I said I was going to when I responded to this person on YouTube, but I'll get to that in a second. I do want to continue a little bit on Bitcoin, then we'll move off of BTC. Now, we talked a lot about buying. Let's talk about selling. The royal government of Bhutan, transfers 400 Bitcoin worth $40 million to QCP Capital for liquidation. What are you doing, Bhutan? You going to make the same mistake the Germans did? Come on, man. Didn't we learn anything? Don't we learn anything from history? Especially with the Germans, right? Typically, they make bad decisions, like selling Bitcoin. Don't make the same decision like they did by selling Bitcoin. Now, this was interesting. Did you see this?
No.
The El Salvador IMF? Okay. So if you're not familiar, this is a crash course on the IMF. It's the International Monetary Fund. They essentially bail out countries and give loans. But they have stipulations. They want you to do certain things. They want you to put the money in certain places. One thing they've been outspoken about is being against Bitcoin. So when El Salvador labeled Bitcoin a legal tender in the country, IMF was like, what are you doing? If you do this, we're not going to give you any loans, to which El Salvador went like this. Now it looks like El Salvador has said, you know what? Can we actually borrow some money? So El Salvador expects to finalize a $1.3 billion IMF loan deal within 2 to 3 weeks by agreeing to make Bitcoin acceptance voluntary instead of mandatory for businesses. So you have two trains of thought here, Rob. You have one train of thought saying, whoa, they're scaling back. What are they doing? There's another train of thought that is saying these guys are playing 4D chess. They found, I think, $3 trillion worth of gold in new gold mines that they want to extract the gold, sell it, and buy Bitcoin. That's the rumor. It hasn't been, confirmed by anyone from El Salvador. They're saying, look, they're going to take this money, the terms. Once they pay it back, they're going to go back to how they kind of started and what they do with Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on this? And what thought process do you kind of align with more? Is this them kind of capitulating to the IMF because they need money, or is this them leveraging it? And
okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
In the last 6 months,
yes,
how many businesses have you visited and paid in Bitcoin?
0.
There you go.
But that's
there you go. That's the point.
That's not the point.
That is the point.
How is that the point?
Because because El Salvador is not making it mandatory that businesses take Bitcoin, probably for the simple reason that
it was mandatory.
I understand it was mandatory.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is nobody's paying in Bitcoin anyways. You have a cryptocurrency show and you don't even pay in Bitcoin. What makes you think that that civilians and regular everyday people in El Salvador are buying in Bitcoin? Realistically, they probably looked at the data, they looked at the analytics, and they're probably like, yeah, we're requiring every business to take Bitcoin, and how much Bitcoin are we actually receiving in payments? It's probably a minuscule amount. And so they're debating here, like, okay, we can either borrow money and keep this standard that every business has to take Bitcoin. And if we keep this standard, we can't borrow any money from the IMF. Or we can say, okay, nobody's paying Bitcoin anyway, so whatever, don't make it mandatory. And then, hey, IMF, can I borrow some money? See what we did there? At the end of the day, nobody's paying in Bitcoin. Let's just be honest with you.
That's where I wanted you to go. I wanted you to tie in the IMF.
That was the whole point. What do you think? I'm just randomly asking you if you bought something in Bitcoin?
No.
Just because I'm curious?
Well, you are notorious for making a statement and
How
then
did you not piece that
it.
together, bro?
You know, there's been a lot of piecing together in the studio here. All I'm saying is you're notorious for making a statement like that and then just leaving it be, not expanding.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways.
Wow.
So do you think they're gonna take that money and buy Bitcoin? Those people are saying. This is what people say, bro.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that they buy 1 Bitcoin a day. I mean, what was the amount that they borrowed?
1.3 billion.
1.3 billion. They're buying basically $1 million worth of Bitcoin every 10 days. And so every month they're buying $3 million. And so, it's in theory going to be going towards buying Bitcoin. I think that they might have a little on the side. Maybe there's a dip. You know, Bukele loves saying we bought the dip and then, buys a chunk of Bitcoin. I think he's a little bit more strategic on when to buy. I think when he sees value, he pulls a trigger. And if he has a bunch of money borrowed from the IMF, why not?
Why not? I want to give a big thank you to today's channel sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Cam's Blue Wire Technology. They've been our solo and only IT partner, an IT and networking partner. There's a good reason for that because this studio setup would not be possible without the teams at Cam's. If you run a business and you want the same level of service and security for your business and company, visit Blue Wire Tech or click the link in the description of this video. Where do we go next? You know what? Let's go to the markets. After the markets, we'll talk about what Mark Yusko said with BTC. Then we'll get into some ETH, some XLM, some Cardano news. And so with that being said, Robert.
All right. So you have Bitcoin at 97,500.
Let me add something. As you're going through this and you're going through the number and you're going through the prices of these cryptocurrencies, if one or two stick out to you that you're like, wow, I can't, I want to buy this, please mention.
Got it. All right. So very interesting 24 hours have passed, right? The markets have opened up on Monday. We started at $100,000 Sunday morning, so yesterday. And we've been selling, right? We did have a little rebound back to 100,000 early this morning, but currently at 97,000. So, will this trend continue? Will we get back above 100K? Will 100K end up being resistance? I have a feeling that it would be. And so for that, I'm very curious to see how the next couple of days shake out.
Rob, can I just ask you, there's a lot of new people. Right, a lot of people that's first cycle, and they just listen to us talk about how this person's buying and this one, and so they might be sitting there wondering, well, then how come Bitcoin can't trade above 100K? What's your thoughts on that for maybe someone who doesn't understand what the fuck's going on?
It's very simple, man. It's the markets, right? And so the markets are move. Bitcoin is very volatile. It always has been. During periods of bear market, it really will calm down. We saw that. In the lead up to this bull market rally, we traded in between, 60 and 70,000 for 10 months. And, now that we are in the price discovery stage into new all-time highs, basically we're going to see big swings, right? So I wouldn't even read too much into it. Just understand that this is the natural flows of the market. And so if we go down to 92,000, I wouldn't be surprised. If we go up to 110,000, I wouldn't be surprised. I do think that we're at an inflection point where, because the 100,000 is such a psychological number, I don't know. It might act as extreme resistance. It might act as, maybe it just bounced off and be back up to 100K. I'm not sure exactly.
I'll add to what Rob said, and I'll add that the crypto markets are extremely leveraged, especially Bitcoin, and Bitcoin drives the market, right? Bitcoin drives the markets. You also have, and this is just me speculating, this is not confirmed, but I think a lot of these derivative exchanges where people trade on leverage, I think that they obviously know people's liquidation points and know what kind of money is there. And I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some funny business going on where the price drops on certain exchanges to a certain level, clears out hundreds of millions of dollars of liquidations, which takes it to the next level. And so that is part of the market cycle. And I was having this conversation yesterday with someone. They were talking about, crypto's too volatile and the stock market doesn't do it. I'm like, listen, the reason that happens is because any time there's an inkling of, oh my God, something bad's happening or some bad news, the Fed and the government step in and they provide liquidity to the market. So it's a stopgap. And so it's artificially held up. It's not a free market because you have intervention from governments. We don't have that in crypto. And I can bet you almost everything I have that if the traditional markets did not have governments and central banks stepping in to provide liquidity and stopgaps, anytime a sign of anything negative happening, you would see the same, if not more, volatility from the stock market as you do in the cryptocurrency market. So keep that in mind. We're the only true fairly traded market, right? Where there's no government intervention, there's no printing more money, there's no backstops, no liquidity. If a company fails, it fails. If an exchange goes out of business, it goes out of business. There's no one to save them. Look what happened with FTX. We also see the ramifications of that as well, is more volatility, more violent price swings to the upside and to the downside. So that's just one thing to keep in mind if you're invested in crypto.
Am I good? Can I get back to what I was doing?
Go ahead, man.
Jeez, that was the longest intermission ever.
Says the guy who...
He's like, God, tell me about the markets. Okay, Bitcoin's 97. Hold on. Explain to the viewer why, chill, bro. All right, let's go.
It's later.
So,
you know what? I'm still not going to say anything the rest of the show. Go ahead, man.
Oh.
Your show, buddy.
Ask me a question.
It's your show, buddy. Go ahead.
And then that's it. Ask me a question, and then I prepare my answer, and it's all right. So, take a look at this. Altcoins are down. Everything is down. Bitcoin is down, except for Pepe. And so Pepe did break all-time highs. And so very interesting. I think that my thesis here is once Bitcoin kind of finds whatever low it's kind of hanging out at here, whether or not it's 97, we go right back up to 100K, or perhaps what we're seeing is more of a drawdown in the 92,000. Regardless, what I think is about to happen is once Bitcoin finds itself and it starts to consolidate sideways and it's not drawing down anymore, that's when altcoins are going to rip. I expect altcoins to come back around, and I think Pepe is an indicator of what's to come. I think that Pepe is the first out the gates for this next price consolidation, or this next price run up. And so on the 1 month, you can see that Pepe has 2.5x. On the 1 year, Pepe has 10x easily. Let's see here, 5x. And so I think that once we see Bitcoin's hanging around 99,000, 102,000, and it hangs out there for, say, a couple of weeks, we start seeing these meme coins pop off. And there's a reason. You got Floki here at the top, Pepe as well. Pepe, once again, all-time highs. You got Mog Coin up 64% as well. And I think Dogecoin is probably my favorite pick. I just talked to someone and they were asking me, I was chatting with them on the phone. They're asking like, hey, what should I buy? There's something that's on Coinbase, something that's not too degenerate. And I was like, bro, you got to get some Dogecoin. I'm telling you, Dogecoin is about to pop off. I think it's going to flirt with that $1 mark. And, if you look back at what the movement it's had, I mean, look at this 1 month move here, up from 20 cents, well over 2x. Look at this 1 year chart. I mean, up from 10 cents in October. And so it's 4x in the last 2.5 months. And on top of that, I think that it's not only going to eclipse its previous all-time highs, which is getting ever more closer, right around that 60 cents. And I think it's going to blow past that. And 90 cent, 95 cent Dogecoin, I think, is around the corner. Then lastly, let's take a look at some of the massively discounted or red projects today. We got Virtuals Protocol, one of our favorite projects. And then this is down 13%. If you're looking to get Virtuals Protocol, might be a good time to get in. We did see this massive price rally. This is something that we blew the horn on and we were signaling back here in October. And so in October, when it was at 10 cents, currently at $1.50, had you been watching our channel, paying attention, you would have gotten exposure. Even at 30 cents, which is still a 5x away, is something we were talking about last month, not even. And so pay attention. We are giving you winners and picks here. And then also taking a look down the list on the discounted projects, you got GALA. This is retraced 10%, still up 27%. I think that GALA is going to be a great play. I know I talked about that last week as well. If you're looking to get into GALA, this is something that I expect to get around that $50 to $1 range. I think that it's a very dependent on a gaming catalog that gets adopted and has massive users or a lot of players on there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see GALA get up to that 50 cent range. It did briefly cross over 50 cents back last bull market cycle to 70 cents. So think about this. You got a 14x away from previous all-time highs. I would not be surprised to see it visit that again, or at least even fall a little short of that. So a 10x would put it at around 50 cents. And I think a 10x is pretty much in the bag for this. I think once the gaming narrative kicks off, I think that a lot of eyeballs will turn to GALA, and rightfully so. And if you couple that with a gaming ecosystem that is thriving, I think it shoots past the dollar. And so I think really, a little high risk play. I also would not be shocked to see it kind of underperform the markets. So I think that's where you get that high risk, high reward. But for me, I feel pretty confident in GALA. I think also a lot of it comes off of the back that they don't have a lot of competition, right? There's not any other chains that solely focus on gaming. I know Avalanche is very, very gaming focused, but they're not. They also have other avenues, other verticals. But GALA, that's their bread and butter. That's their thing. And we saw what happened last bull market cycle. And if you weren't around for last bull market cycle, soon as Meta changed their name from Facebook to Meta, that metaverse, everything that was related to metaverse 10x. And so I think that if you get a scenario where perhaps avalanches off the grid, the marketplace goes live, all of a sudden transactions go through, and it's like, hey man, this gaming thing and blockchain, it makes so much sense, it's gonna be revolutionize the world. GALA can explode. GALA is going to explode. And so in the same way that we told you about Virtual Protocol last month, 2 months ago, if you missed out on that, this is another one of my favorite plays as well. So there you go. That's all I got.
It's your show. Remember, go ahead. What do we got?
Okay, cool. Minutes. All right. So we are also going to be a net buyer of Bitcoin. We have a Bitcoin strategy, a strategic reserve coming in for the company as well. Also,
not possible.
I did want to say, we have about 300 copies of the almanac left, right? We have a certain amount being minted and created and printed. And so this is your last chance. If you're not familiar with the Crypto Almanac, it is a comprehensive guide to 2025 navigating crypto. We break it down by sectors. We have interviews on there. So do us a favor. In the description below, we have a link to pre-order your magazine. It should arrive by Christmas. Makes for good Christmas gifts. There is over 300 live viewers, and we have about 150 orders in already. So basically, if 10% of you buy the damn magazine, we'll get a little closer. There you
go. Speaking of the magazine, just so you guys know, everyone's like, well, is there an actual magazine or is it
Yeah, it's a physical copy.
It's an actual magazine, guys.
And each one is individually numbered and they coincide. You authenticate it with a tap on your phone, and then you mint an NFT, which we pay for the gas fees. And you get an NFT that matches. So if you get copy number 5 on the almanac, you also get copy number 5 on the digital version as well. So ebook reader.
Before we move,
theoretically, you could sell your digital copy too. I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it, but you can.
But yeah, you could.
Do we make money on when they sell it?
Yeah, we have a 5% royalty.
Yeah. Yeah. Sell it. Sell it all. Just kidding. Before we move on, there's 2 altcoins I want to talk about that I bought some yesterday, but I bought some more of this because I did a poll. I said, look, it was my birthday yesterday. I said, I want to buy some crypto.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you. What should I buy? And Snack got like 97% of the votes. So went to Kraken. Bought some Cardano, was getting ready to pull it out because I know they don't have SNEC listed, to which I was like, Kraken, come on, got to list SNEC, man. So I tried to pull it out, but I got to wait 7 days. So waiting on the 7 days to pull it out. I don't want to unstake my ADA. I don't want to touch that. This was fresh capital that I put in, waiting for that to be done. But Cardano, I bought it on the dip. I bought it around $1.16 yesterday. It is currently down to $1.11. We know the massive feat that we just saw, right? 1 million TPS, 2 billion transactions in just a few short days, more than Visa. I think more than Visa and MasterCard combined. I could be potentially wrong on that. But Cardano at $1.11. We talked about that $1.20 level, just hasn't been able to get past that $1.20 level. I expect that to change very shortly. We saw Cardano, you take a look at the 1 year. I mean, this thing was flat, right? About as flat as Robin's personality. And, it had a couple wicks up to like 80 cents and came back down. And then really starting from April, 58 cents just kept trending down. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And then what happens? Oh, my God. In like 2 weeks, it goes from 30 cents to over $1. And that's just what Cardano does. And so we're seeing a little bit of retracement from ADA, $1.11. I think that is an amazing pickup. The other one is XLM. Guys, if you don't have any Stellar Lumens in your portfolio, I highly recommend, it's not financial advice, but highly recommend you look into potentially getting some exposure to Stellar Lumens. It's got a lot going for it. It's working with the right people. It's got 2 of the most important narratives in the entire crypto space, payments and RWA. And Stellar is at the top 3 of each of those categories, right? When we take a look at on the RWA side, as far as protocols and value on chain and on the network, Stellar is number 2. You take a look at payments, when you compare finality, when you compare fees, they're number 1, right? You think about payments, you think about XLM, XRP, you think about RWA, you say Ethereum, Chainlink, Stellar Lumens, Avalanche, a few other ones, but Stellar at 45.8 cents. And we did do a Stellar video today, but I mean, is there more of a perfect time to get in if you wanted to get in? I mean, this is a symmetrical triangle we've been in on the daily for XLM. If you zoom out, you can call this a bullish pennant, right? As the pole extends from around that 64 cent down to that 12 cent level. But this thing is going to break. Is it going to break to the upside or to the downside? If it does break to the downside, let's take a look at some key levels that I'll be looking to buy. We do have a gap here between 35.5 and 42.8 cents. If it gets anywhere near sub 40 cents, I will deploy a large amount of capital because I think this thing will bounce right back up. But if we do move to the upside, you're seeing immediate resistance right between that 61.9 and 66 cent level. But XLM for me is a long-term play. And so super bullish on XLM. Now, the question that was asked was from Metro Collectibles and Vlogs. Thanks for sharing. Real question. Why are ADA and XLM prices so low when they are RWAs? Is it because they are not sexy? Meaning like they don't attract the masses like meme coins? To be honest, when you compare them to ETH is slow and expensive. Thank you in advance. You want to take a stab at this question here, Rob? Why are ADA and XLM prices so low when they are RWAs? Is it because they're just not sexy coins?
I mean, I don't know why people say they're low. I mean, right?
I mean, people compare it to, oh, this meme coin, 10x.
Cardano's in the top 10, $40 billion in market cap. XLM, not far away from that as well. $13 billion in market cap. Number 16 on the market cap list. We've seen both of Cardano and XLM rally in the last month. And so, I mean, XLM is up from 10 cents to 45, and Cardano is up from 30 cents to $1.12. And so for me, if you're asking the question, why aren't they rallying or why aren't they worth more? Like, wake up. And then at the end of the day, real world assets, Cardano hasn't even launched that, right? Charles came out and said he's building it, or he's interested in building it, or he sees value in that marketplace. And also XLM, they are a leader in that area, but you know what I mean? Like, that's their thing, right? And so I think that's why they're valued in the top 20, because they have a RWA play. And so for me, you know, I see it in the comments all the time. People are like, oh, well, why would you invest in Cardano? It hasn't moved. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It hasn't moved. 40 cents to $1.20 in a month. I mean, maybe if you look at the 1 week, you look in the last 7 days, you're like, oh, it's down 10 cents. Like, wake up. And I think that people in crypto are so greedy, because all you got to do is just buy and just stop checking the price for a couple months, man. That's all you got to do, right? All right, just think about it. If you would have bought Bitcoin in 2012 and 2015 and 2017 and 2020 and 2022 and 2024, the beginning of the year, if you would have buy it next month, at the end of the day, just hold it. Just chill, man. It's going to work out. If you believe that Cardano is going to work out, it'll work out. Buy it now and hold it, right? I don't know, man. I just feel like the vibe in crypto, people are so nearsighted that they just forget that, like, we're making stupid money. As long as you're not blowing your profits on some stupid meme coin or something, which, you know, we're all guilty of, or at least I am. But I mean, honestly, like, just chill. We're making money and we're early in the bull market. So to those of you questioning why it's not worth more, I would say to you, why haven't you looked at its price movement? Why haven't you looked at how much money you've made, right? And unless you just bought it today, then you probably made a lot of money already, right? If you own XRP, you own Stellar, you own Cardano, you're in the profit, bro. You are making a monster amount of money. There you go.
We have a few super chats. I want to give a shout out to Poman, $10 super chat, said, buy an almanac, damn it. Yes, what he said. I agree. Thank you, Poman. Nathan with a $5 super chat said, I missed the bar. Much more fun. Yeah, fun for you, not fun for me. You know what my wife said? When I told her what happened, she's like, well, did you say you'll take another shot for $2.50? I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm not for sale. My liver and my acid reflux are not for sale. Okay? Hurts my throat. Bad news. So a big thank you to you. Nathan, you also said the background looks good. Appreciate it, brother. And then Ricky Romero, what is Swee's price prediction for 2025? Do you guys think it'll outperform Solana this cycle? And now a good time to jump in?
I don't think it'll outperform Solana, but I think it'll have very similar price movement that we saw for Solana last bull market cycle.
Outperform Solana?
I don't think so.
I do.
And then also, shout out to all the new people here. If you're new, say something. Drop a comment in the chat. We'll give you some recognition. Some new faces spotted out here. We got Nathan Sherwood, Anthony D, Ali Reza, Aija, also Adrian SV, XRP Armor, Mankey, Seaton, Daniel K, Dan Lucia, Staines, Miguel, John Wick, Octa, Chill G. To all of you, hola! Welcome.
You know, Sui, I can see a 6 to 10x from Sui. Can I see a 6 to 10x from Solana? 1,200 to 200 and 1,200 at $2,200? I don't. So I think Sui can outperform Solana. Would I be surprised if it doesn't? No. But as far as a price prediction, 25 to 40 bucks.
I just think that Sui has a lot of potential as far as dApps, but I just think that people are on Solana, right? Meme coins are on Solana. I think that DeFi is going to shift over to Solana, or at least grow significantly from where they're at. I wouldn't be surprised to see NFTs kind of come back. Wouldn't be surprised to see gaming start to pop up on Solana as well. And so, yeah, I can't fade Solana right now, man. At least not against Sui. Can't. There you go.
All right, let's talk about some. Let's start here. Let's talk about Brad Garlinghouse. So I watched the interview, the 60-minute interview. I know Rocco watched it. Did you watch it?
No, I was busy setting up studio crap.
Don't worry, me and Rocco.
But I saw all the vibes. I saw the highlights. I saw the vibes. It didn't seem like they took the interview seriously. It didn't seem like they were asking.
It was fucking 60 minutes, and it was a 12-minute clip.
Yeah.
And Brad maybe was like a third of it in it. They had that John Reed Stark guy who's like Gary Gensler's long-lost freaking stepbrother or lover, one of the two. Anyways, Garlinghouse faces backlash for gambling reference, slammed 60 Minutes interview over XRP victory. A pro-XRP lawyer, Fred Rispoli, suggested that the segment was poorly researched or unfairly edited. 60 Minutes unfairly editing an interview? No way, Kamala Harris. He criticized the choice of Stark, which is John Reed Stark, noting that he is a strong supporter of the SEC and made multiple false statements during the interview. Also, go away. What? Anyways, he expressed dissatisfaction with Garlinghouse with his reference to gambling as a defense for crypto, although he acknowledged that the 90-minute interview was condensed. After the 60-minute segment aired, Garlinghouse himself criticized the program for how it portrayed cryptocurrency and Ripple. Taken to X, Garlinghouse pointed out key omissions, and what he believed was a misrepresentation of crypto's utility. He wrote, quote, I spoke with Margaret Brennan of 60 Minutes for 90 minutes straight. When discussing the SEC's misguided lawsuits against Ripple, 60 Minutes shockingly left out that a federal judge ruled that XRP is not a security, and Gensler's shill, John Reed Stark, knows better despite his comments that 60 Minutes chose to air. Rocco, you watched it. I watched it. What are your thoughts on this interview?
A couple of things. Definitely, I'm proud of Brad. It really ended up very well under pressure. Those questions weren't easy. And also, I got to tell you, the narrative was distorted as usual. I was disappointed. I was expecting a fair interview. Instead, they failed to mention the many time SBF met with Gary Gensler, and and they failed to mention, of course, that XRP, the Judge Torres named XRP not a security. So a little disappointed, and then of course the snake that is Gary Gensler apprentice was sad to watch, unfortunately. But we are in the right direction. Before, we never been featured in any big, outlet like that. I think things are gonna change. Brad, I think, was very brave on explaining the situation. Unfortunately, the editing on the clips were not what representing the reality. But things are changing, and we're gonna see a better result in the future. So, but a little disappointed about the interview.
Call me crazy, but I was expecting a 60 Minutes interview to be longer than 12 minutes. I mean,
inflation.
Here's the thing:
the show is 60 minutes, not the interview.
I understand,
and so they never have any interviews for 60 minutes.
I get it, but dude, what the fuck was that?
60 minutes.
You talked to the guy for 90 minutes, and what you aired is what you decided to show. It was it was so dumb.
You expected something else? I mean, I if you would have asked me prior, I would have been like, yeah, they'll do a 10-minute interview. They'll chop it and make it they'll make it hella cringe, and they're gonna probably ask a bunch of dumb questions about crypto and Bitcoin. And that's exactly what you got, right? I didn't watch it in its entirety, but I watched all the highlights, and so are you surprised?
What are you guys doing, man?
It's the same thing, man. Remember me, you, the viewer. We understand how things work. We understand the landscape, right? But what happens when somebody new asks you that doesn't have crypto? They walk up to you like, "Hey, what should I buy?" It's always the same mentality with those people. They think things are scammy. They think it's all crap. They think they missed the boat on Bitcoin, and they want to know how to make quick money. And for journalists, it's the same damn thing. They all think that Bitcoin is a fun little narrative to talk about, quirky little questions. Hey,
it should be their job to be.
But they don't really understand that it's going to change the financial landscape. It's going to change people's lives. It's going to bank the unbanked in countries that have a gap in banking. And so for me, not surprising the slightest, bro. That's what you get with legacy media, and that's why they're falling off, and that's why people are tuning into YouTube to get all the alpha. Let's be honest. Do you think any of our viewers were like, "Oh man, 60 minutes to make an interview. I gotta watch this"? I'm sure they're gonna have all kinds of good content on crypto and XRP. Absolutely not.
You know, it's funny. M Ops said, "Do they at least allow the whole interview to be viewed?" Yeah, no, they don't. They show you what they want to show you, and that's pretty much it. To fit their narrative. That's and to Rob's point, that's why people are leaving mainstream media, is because they're fucking tired of these legacy companies trying to tell you what to think. I think a normal person says, "Give me the whole thing. Let me make a decision. Is this right? Is this wrong? Do I agree here? Do I disagree here?" Don't sit there and pigeonhole me into believing your narrative. Give me the facts, lay out the conversation, and let me decide. And so that's why you should subscribe to Sin City on YouTube. Okay, let's talk about Jupiter. So I'm assuming if like you use Jupe, I use Jupe. I think Rocco used Jupiter. If you've ever traded on Solana, you've probably used Jupiter. Well, guess what? You're probably going to get some money airdropped into your Phantom wallet as the Jupiter DAO. I voted yes for this. They approved the $860 million Jupe airdrop plan for the annual rewards. This is happening in the month of January, or as they reference, Jupuary. Is going to be based on activity from the previous year with protections against airdrop farmers. And I think they took the snapshot in November. And so this is something I have used numerous times. I pretty much use Jupiter for every single trade I've done on Solana. I've gone through Jupiter because it's that fucking good. It's amazing. And so make sure to stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date. Do not click on any links. Don't go on social media and see, oh my God, no. Don't click on links. They're more than likely going to be phishing links. We'll tell you exactly what to do. Last time with the Jupiter airdrop, there was just, you log into your Phantom wallet and there was a little notification. Hey, claim your Jupiter. Cool. You do it there and there. No need to click a link. No need to connect your wallet to anything. Don't do it. You'll lose all your money. And, you tune in here. We'll give you all the up-to-date stuff. And then,
you also got Bitcoin approaching 96,000. Little sell-off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it down to 96.9 briefly. And so how far will Bitcoin drop? I'm curious.
Bull market's over.
You think, here's a serious question. Do you think it holds 90K? Say in the scenario, it drops down. We saw it briefly flash crash off of liquidations down to 92,000. Some of the derivatives exchanges, we even saw it down to 90,500. But let's just say Bitcoin is trading around 92,000. You think we see a sub 90K Bitcoin, or do you think that's kind of off the table?
There was so much buying at 90. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I think the markets proved to us. What they think about Bitcoin at 92K. They think it was undervalued. So,
yeah,
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean 96.9. Good, man. Good. Take it lower. I want to buy some more. We'll end with this. Mark Yusko predicts the crypto bear market to hit in mid-2025. Interesting. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with Mr. Yusko here?
Makes sense. I mean, if you look at the nation state narrative, I think that is something that...
So it makes sense? I thought you said we're going to hit a high in November.
Oh, I was thinking 2026.
No,
I'm off by a whole year here. Oh boy. No, I don't think so. I think it's late 2025. I think we have an extended bull market because of nation state adoption. And I think every time the price draws down, I think that buyers on Wall Street will come in and see the value and buy it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I love Mark, but I'm against him on this one. I don't think we're going to see mid 2025. I think we'll see a little bit. I think we'll see a pull off in Q2. I really do. I think Q2, Q3, either or. We'll get a pullback, and end of Q3 going into the beginning of Q4, I think is when we're going to see the massive rally. So we'll see. All right, that'll do it for the show today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. We got 2 videos coming for you. We got an XLM video and a Chainlink video. So if you're interested in those projects or you want to learn a little bit more about what's going on, make sure to watch those videos. And with that being said, Rocco, thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. Make sure to come back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on YouTube, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Until then, my friends.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.